Well, and speaking of MVPs, our own MVP, Chuck Woodford, the voice of the Rockies, steps in front of the camera and gives us his report from his baseball road trip.
Behind me, the legendary home of the Boston Red Sox, it's Fenway Park. Now, as you can tell out in front of the park here, there's food vendors and people very excited about today's game. They're taking on the Cleveland Indians. And at this time, today when we're shooting this, the Red Sox are still in the playoff hunt for a wild card spot. Now, by the time you watch this, chances are good that dream will be over. But don't tell any of these people because they're really excited about their Red Sox. Before we leave Boston, though, there's one thing I need to do. We need to go down to Boston Harbor, and that's where we're headed right now. Taxation without representation! That was really cool, but I think we should go now. Well, we got through Vermont safely and across the Canadian border, and now we're in scenic and lovely Montreal. I say scenic and lovely jokingly, of course, because it's cold here. So a little trip to Montreal Olympic Park was definitely a success. We had a very good time. Matter of fact, I think the highlight for me was sitting in front of this little section of 8 to 12-year-olds. The biggest deal for them, I think, during the entire game was finding the guy selling the everlasting gobstoppers, and then the guy that makes the horn noise. Fwang, fwang, fwang. That went on for, about 3 straight hours. Had a very good time in Montreal. Now let's see what Toronto has to offer. The Sky Dome is just absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, the dome is closed because apparently the temperature is, 70, and that's way too cold for these people up here, so they got it closed. There's a Hard Rock Cafe actually in here. There's, like I said, a hotel, and hanging high above the Jumbotron, the World Series banners. I'm angry. Well, after watching the Toronto Blue Jays, we got in the car and headed south to the American border, which is right over there. We are so close, yet so far. We figured we'd stop in Niagara Falls because I've never been here and it's pretty. Okay, well that's about that. Let's go. Final stop of our Road Trip 2000 takes us to Cleveland. Behind me, the legendary Cuyahoga River. July 22nd, 1969, this thing was so polluted it went up like a Christmas tree. Burned solid for 2 straight days. So we came down to the river to see what the condition was, and it looked actually still pretty filthy. So I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see if we can light this baby up. Well, apparently it doesn't look like it wants to burn, but then of course it is a river. It should never have burned. What the hell was going on back in '69? Anyway, I'm going to stay here and try and light this baby up. If I am successful, chances are good you'll hear about it on your local news. But we're going to wrap this up for now. This is Chuck Woodford live from Cleveland. We'll see you next season.
Thanks, Chuck. We appreciate you taking us along on your road trip.